name is Dan. I am a trainer here at Motility Software Solutions. And today's webinar, we are going to be looking at the reporting module and specifically the custom report builder tool, but we'll also take a look at some of the other features that are built into that module that you might not know about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to go ahead and open the reporting module from our main menu. And for those of you that aren't familiar, all of your custom reports are going to reside in the middle here in this center area. And to run any of your custom reports that you've already built, so if I wanted to see my customer listing that I created, for example, I can just check my box here and I can hit OK. And that will go ahead and pull that report for me with whatever filters that I applied to that report when I created it. So real easy to access your custom reports once they're in there. It's as simple as picking it off your list here, checking the box, and then you can hit OK to run it. There is a tooltip here at the bottom. So this is kind of the exception to the rule would be your vehicle inventory custom reports that you made. And to print those, you're going to actually go to print custom vehicle report, which is going to be right underneath your custom report builder menu option on the left here. And it's going to be this bottom one, print custom vehicle report. These are going to be slightly different in that rather than having preset filters, this one will actually allow you to use the filter screen that is attached to all of your unit inventory reports. So if I jump into one of my unit inventory reports here, unit inventory manager, for example, you'll see it looks kind of similar in that it allows you to use our filters that are already pre-built into the software. It's a little bit easier, takes out some of the guesswork, and really allows you to apply multiple filters to your custom report pretty easily. All right. So let's go ahead and we'll jump right into it, and we'll take a look at the custom report builder. So the custom report builder itself, when you open the menu option for custom report builder, there's actually going to be one more option beneath it called custom report builder. And when you click on this, it will pull up this custom report builder window for you. Now at this point, you have two options. You can either create a brand new report from scratch. And if I do this, it's going to give me a few options. It's going to pull up this screen here, and this is going to ask me what kind of report essentially am I trying to create here. And what this screen is really looking at is it really kind of is looking at what module you want to specify, and that's going to allow you to pick fields from that module. So for example, if I were to click on CRM Manager, for example, that will allow me to pull fields from CRM. So customer phone number, customer preferences in units, their email address. If I was trying to get, just a listing of their information. So keep that in mind. Based off what you pick here, it's going to that's going to determine which items you have on your pick list to actually build your columns in the custom report. So that's kind of where that comes into play. So I'm going to go ahead and select CRM Manager here. And this is that field chooser I was telling you about. So based off our decision on the previous window, that is going to determine what options we have on this field chooser field here. So and this is going to be where we're able to select our columns that we want to display when we pull this report. So I can pull, let's see here, I could do first name, last name, entity number, email address, and I could do cell phone and home phone. So it will try to guess to try and figure out what kind of format, the formatting that you want it to display in here. So if I go ahead and close my field chooser window right now, you'll see it kind of breaks down intuitively for us. Not always the case, but it will try its best to kind of help you out and format these. It won't be able to align your columns perfectly, but it's pretty easy to correct. You would just hover over kind of the border between two columns here, and you'll get this double arrow icon. And once you have that, you can click and drag over your column to adjust the width of the column. So it's really as simple as that. We have all of our fields here now, and I just need to kind of adjust them so that all of our information fits in all of our columns. And now at this point, if I'm happy with my columns, the second step would be to create my filters for the report. So basically, what we're picking on the reporting screen typically when we're selecting our date ranges and so on and so forth, or other filters. So up at the top, I have the options menu here. And underneath field chooser, I can select filter here. And this is where it can get a little bit tricky in the custom report builder. You have to have some kind of idea of what kind of filters you want to apply to it. So for example, if I wanted only my customers that live in the state of Florida, what I can do is I can select state as my field. So field is always going to be your first column. And again, this is looking at all of our fields that we have on the CRM side of things, since I selected CRM Manager as my report type. Won't always be the case. So if you selected unit inventory or something like that, you would have more unit specific filters here. But I'll go ahead and select state. The next thing that we want to pick is operator. And operator is pretty much always going to be equal if it's a specific field that we're looking at. The exception to that rule would be if you're selecting a date-based field. In that case, you'll want to select a greater than or a less than, if it's before or after that date, depending on what you're looking for. And then value is going to be the actual the data in that field. So I want to look for customers that are in Florida. So I'm going to select state equals Florida, for example. So that's going to be my filter that I'm going to apply, and I'll hit OK here. And it's actually going to apply it to your preview screen here. And at this point, we are only looking at customers in the state of Florida. So I can get a breakdown of my customers by state. Might be something that we can't get on one of our other reports. Now, once we are done with our selecting our columns and done adding our filters to the report, we can go ahead and save it. And it's going to ask you for a name. So I will say Florida, helps if I can spell, Florida customer listing. And then you can also apply a security level to it. So this will actually look at the security module, and depending on your security level under custom reports, it's going to restrict who's able to access this report. So up to you if you want to restrict it so that only certain users can view this custom report. This is how you can accomplish that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And now my report is going to be on my custom report screen in the middle, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Some other options that you have on the report builder screen. I just want to mention that if you ever need to go back and add any columns, you can go back up to options, and select Field Chooser, and it'll give you that window back just in case you want to add any additional fields. So if I wanted to see state, I can add that. And as you can see, it's all people in the state of Florida. The other options that you have here are going to be your preview screen. So, and you're going to have two options. One will preview your report within the software, kind of like what you're probably used to seeing where when you're previewing a report in the software now. The other option will actually open it in Excel. So it will automatically export the report into a spreadsheet for you, and then you can view it within Excel or Libre or whatever you're using. And then your other options are to just go ahead and print the report from this screen, or you can export it and save it to a spreadsheet file to Excel. So this is kind of all your options on this. You also have a toggle here, which will allow you to switch the report from portrait to landscape. This is kind of a handy tool if you ever need to, if you need to add additional columns, if you're having trouble getting everything to fit on your screen, this can help you if you switch to landscape, if you have quite a, fields that are pretty long for address or whatever the case may be. And again, if you ever need to look at your filters, it's just up at the top under your filters, and when you hit OK, it'll actually apply those filters. Your filters will be saved, when you hit the Save Report button. So that's really all there is to it. And now, if I exit this window, the next time let's see. So it won't refresh until you reopen the report window. But if I go ahead and exit and reopen my reporting window, we'll see here it is, my Florida customer listing custom report that I built. So that's really all there is to it. Really the most difficult part is entering in your filters. So if you're ever having any trouble with that, feel free to contact either our support department, and they're pretty familiar with the naming conventions that we use. They can probably help you figure out what filter you want to apply, or you can also reach out to us in the training department, and we can probably point you in the right direction with that. But other than that, pretty intuitive. So let's go ahead and we will create another report. And again, we're going to go ahead, open the custom report builder. And I'm going to go ahead and select my custom report builder screen again. So this time I'm going to select new. And rather than selecting a CRM report type, I'm going to go ahead and select a vehicle inventory manager report type here. So I'm going to hit OK, and I'll actually do this one with the W, and I'll hit OK. And again, I'm going to get my field chooser once I choose my report type. And at this point, I can go ahead and select my columns that I want to look at. So if I want stock number, year, make, and model. So now I have a decent listing, and I can also select whether it's new, used, or demo. And once I have my columns set up, I can go ahead and resize them. I will shrink this one down. I'll move my new, used over here. And I'll go ahead and collapse my year down so I have more room to see the make and model of these units. There we go. Okay. So the thing that is neat with our vehicle inventory custom reports is we can actually use our filters. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And I'm going to say, I'll go ahead and name this new units custom. And now I can go ahead and exit. And my option that I have now is if I go to print custom vehicle report here, and this is right under my custom report builder screen here, it's going to look pretty familiar. It has all of our filters that are attached to our unit inventory reports. But at the bottom here, you see that we have the option to select any of our custom reports as long as they have vehicle inventory somewhere in the name here. So there are quite a few variations that you can pick from that custom report builder screen. So you see that I have a vehicle inventory manager, a vehicle inventory sales. As long as it has that vehicle inventory prefix on it, you're going to be able to select it from this screen here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick my new units custom here. I will check it off. And then you have the option to keep your original filter if you want. So that would be the same as going up to our options and manually plugging in our filters, which I don't want to do. I want to utilize our filters that we have built into the screen here. So I'm going to uncheck that. And now I can kind of filter down my report however I want to see it. So I can do only new units, and I will say only that are, we'll do a range. We'll do everything from 2014 to 2018. And now I can go ahead and run my report. Always make sure that you know, your default options are correct here. So I don't want any units that are on order or have been sold or that are marked as consignment or are pending. So I'm going to go ahead and hit show reports. And there it is. This is my report that we just built, our new units custom, and it's breaking it down for me. And it's only going to show us, you know, our things that we want. It's going to apply those filters that we entered on this screen. So that's really all there is to it. This is a really nice tool. It can get kind of tedious trying to add all those filters from that filter screen on the options menu, especially when it concerns unit inventory, where, you know, there's any number of criteria that you want to pull the report by. So this helps facilitate that, where you can, you know, apply as many filters as you want from this screen. And before we break for today, I also want to point out just some of the other features of our reporting screen. And a lot of people, you know, might seem simple, but a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually right-click a number of your options on your reporting screen. So if I go ahead and right-click my Unit Inventory Manager report here, it's going to give me a couple options. Oh, and something's up. Just bear with me for 1 second here. And thanks for holding for me for a second. I think I had a temporary connection drop. But as I was saying, you're going to have a number of options on the reporting menu here on the left side here. So if you ever right-click a name of a report, it's going to give you this options menu here. And it's going to give you a few things that can save you some time. So the first thing is you can actually save a report to your favorites. I already have this one in my favorites, but if I remove it, or if I select another report here, so if I wanted to add my inventory turn report to my favorites, my first option is add to favorites. And what that's going to do is, rather than having to open up each menu tree option every single time to find this report, it's going to save it at the top. And your top menu item is always going to be favorites. So anything that you right click and select add to favorites, it's going to populate at the top for you. And you don't have to search for anything. It's always going to save it at the top of your screen here. The other things that you can do are you can rename it and add a custom name if, I don't know, maybe internally you refer to the report by a different name or something. If I hit add custom report name, it's going to pop up this screen for me. And you have two options. You can either change the name just for yourself using this top line. So enter a personal alternate name. So if I just wanted to change the name for myself, or if I wanted to change it company-wide, maybe all of us at the dealership refer to it by this certain name, I can enter it as the company-wide alternate name. And then I would just hit save, and that would apply that for me. If you do create an alternate name, the nice thing is you can use this alternate name field at the bottom of your screen, and you can search for your report by that alternate name that you created. The other things that you can do here are you have the option to save your report filter presets, and that's going to basically lock in any details that you have saved on this report. So if I am, pretty consistently running a report, on all of my, we'll say, JCO units, and maybe only my new JCO units that are in a new status. So if I'm running this every week just to see what new JCOs we got in stock, what I can do is I can hit the Save Report Filter Presets button here, and it will give you a message that it saved successfully. And now anytime I go to another report, it's gonna, and I come back, it's gonna lock in those filters that I've applied to this report. So pretty handy, makes it so that you don't have to adjust all of your filters every single time you use this report. And then finally, you have the option to create a desktop shortcut. And if you select this option, it does exactly what you might think it would do, where it's going to give you an icon. It's going to name the icon after that report that you selected. And now I don't even have to open the software. I can just double click on this icon and it'll take me straight to my report. So pretty handy. But yeah, that was pretty much all the information that we had for you today in today's webinar. Again, we were mainly covering using the custom report builder, and we also took a look at some of those features that you can access by right-clicking the name of a report. If anyone wasn't able to attend for the whole session, or if there is another employee that you want to show this video, we're going to go ahead and post this on our website here a bit later today, and you'll have access to that full video along with all of our other webinars on our website. So hope this was helpful. Appreciate everyone's time today. Thanks, and have a nice day.